so that it's right there. Hello, everybody. It's Sunday Night Live, and I am Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it. And I have with me today Laura Shovlin. She is the Executive Director of Helping Hands Gifts. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
having me. It is such a privilege to have you. Thank you for coming out on a Sunday night when there is a million things that you could be doing besides hanging out with me and talking to our Facebook family and friends. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. And thanks for those of you who are jumping on. It's great to have you. We're going to take just a minute here and let you guys, filter in. It's great. And forgive my glasses. Linda, hi. And Mike Daniels, I'm so glad you're here. All right, so before we get started talking about dreams, I wanted to give you guys an update about the Christmas tea. As some of you already know, Helping Hands Gifts is having a charity fundraiser tea at Tanya's Victorian Rose Tea Room in Rochester. How many of you have been to Rochester since they put all the lights up? Rochester, Michigan, thumbs up, hearts if you love it, because it is gorgeous. So it's on December 17th, right?
Yes.
And we've got 2 teas available. So what time is the first one?
10 a.m. and noon.
Okay, so 10 a.m., that's for you early risers who love brunch. And I can tell you that this food is brunch perfect.
Yes.
We've got chicken pot pie, or I think it's quiche, right?
Or a salad with chicken.
Or a salad with chicken. So you've got some options. So for those of you who want to get your relaxation in early to make sure you don't miss it, you're going to want to come to the 10 o'clock one. And for those of you who are definitely ladies who lunch, not that you can't come if you're a guy, but it's mostly, it's going to be ladies. So for the ladies who lunch, noon is the place to be.
Yes.
There are only 30 seats available in each tea. So you want to get your tickets now. And Laura, how can they get them?
There is a Facebook link or invitation or event.
Okay.
And there's a link, or you can go to Tanya's Victorian Rose Tea Room, and it's on there as well on her calendar. I can post it when the video ends, right?
Perfect. Yeah, we'll make sure that it's posted in the comments, and I'll actually put it on my business page. For those of you who haven't gone and hit like for Support Life with Shannon LaBruyere, if you do that, you'll be sure to be able to see that link to get those tickets for tea. And for those of you gentlemen who don't feel like lunching with all the ladies in the fancy schmancy tea room, your wife or girlfriend would think that was
The coolest.
amazing. Amazing. So if you want to be a hero, just when the holidays are getting thick and scary and hairy, get them a ticket to this tea.
Absolutely.
And back in the day, my mom would let me stay home from school sometimes for special stuff. And if I had a little girl at home, I'd be buying 2 tickets, and we'd be taking a long lunch and having a lovely mother-daughter thing.
That would be nice.
Oh, there's a million ways you could celebrate. So I want to invite you to do that. And thank you, Laura, again for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. So I've been thinking a lot about dreams because I have a million. And before I get too far into it, do you have Pinterest? Do you do Pinterest?
I don't do Pinterest.
You don't do Pinterest. Okay, who on Facebook Live right now does Pinterest? Give me a thumbs up. Linda's going to be there, and she's going to be a nooner. So thank you for that. And Giselle, I'm glad you're with me today. Thank you so much. All right, so I see some of you saying that you do Pinterest. I do Pinterest. If any of you want to go and follow my Pinterest page, you will see hundreds and hundreds and thousands of pins of things that I find immensely inspiring. I have got probably 20 different pictures of how I think I need to decorate my living room. None of them are the same, and none of them have happened. Because it turns out, when it comes to dreaming, being inspired is just the very first step.
Correct.
You start with inspiration, right? My dream home, my dream Christmas buffet, which, I usually get about, a few packs of Oreos and some Honey Baked Ham, and I am in, right? But Pinterest, those kinds of things, they inspire us, magazines, but inspiration isn't everything. You can get inspired, but it takes more. And so the first thing that you need for a dream is inspiration, right?
Absolutely.
All right. The second thing you need to make a dream a reality is motivation. So I'm a knitter, and I have Tupperware bins filled with yarn. I was inspired when I bought it. And now I just haven't been motivated to do anything with it. I've got a blog on my website. Inspired. Haven't quite been motivated enough. Martha, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So, to make a dream a reality, what I'm learning is this. You have to have inspiration, but you have to have motivation. The key, I think, is action, right? Because none of that's happening if you don't take action. And then the last thing is accountability, because it's good if we can hold ourselves accountable, and I know you guys are probably great at it. Me, sometimes good, sometimes not. How about you?
Same.
Okay. So inspiration, motivation, action, and accountability are the 4 things that we need to make our dreams a reality. And I'm interested in your journey, Laura, and that's why I brought you here, because you've got a dream that you're following. And so I want you to tell us about what your dream is, and then I'm going to ask you to share what's your motivation. How do you make sure you take action? And then that piece that's sometimes so painful, how are you holding yourself or making sure that you're being held accountable to do what it takes?
Absolutely.
All right, so get us started. What's your dream, Laura?
Well, I think my dream, it's really evolved over the last few years, running Helping Hands Gifts, but really to create a better model for how nonprofits are supported in their community, and take that support to help to work on large scale projects instead of a little bit here and a little bit here, working on something that would impact a whole community or a whole area or a whole population.
Awesome. So changing the way that looks, that's huge.
Yes.
That takes some vision.
Yes.
And that takes some inspiration.
Yes.
All right, so what motivated you to start? And what keeps you going to try and bring that vision into reality?
Well, I think a couple of things. What motivated me was that as I was talking to nonprofits and as I was talking to people, they were so busy working on the front lines, doing all this work, they couldn't really do some of those dream projects and ideas, and they knew it was bigger than them. They were so busy, as you say, in the moment, that they couldn't focus on the dreams and the wishes. And I'm not speaking for everyone, but it was sort of had to be put on the back burner. So the motivation came from those people of, if we could have a little bit more help, if we could get a whole community involved, if we could speak outside of our fan base or donor base or volunteer base and touch people to say, now we're going to clean up this road or the street or a river or a neighborhood or whatever. And so I thought, well, what if we could inspire people to get motivated to do some action around a bigger scale idea, as opposed to just donating or just doing one thing, but looking at a big picture.
Okay, so what you're describing is, instead of the single drop of water and then it evaporates, you're talking about this drop of water, this, and now you've got a puddle, then you've got a pond, then a lake, then, the ocean made up of a kabillion drops
of water.
Yeah.
That were each just a drop.
So that vision of what that unity could accomplish is what keeps you going when it gets tough?
Yes. And you asked, for me, the motivation is that there have been small wins and small successes. Ooh. And then 2, that someone will send me a text like I received on Friday night saying, you don't know about the smiles you put on people's faces who don't have a lot to smile about. And so something like that just keeps me fueled so that amazing organization, I'll give them a shout out, Life Builders, can do that amazing work which they're doing in Detroit, street by street, by neighborhood, by corner, and they're transforming a whole area of Detroit because they started with one person, one individual, one child, one family, one neighborhood, one apartment building.
Yeah.
And that's
So,
where
so watching the exponential impact of what you're doing is motivating.
Yes.
So let me see, for those of us who aren't in the same career or aren't in the same dream, basically what you're saying is that you've got to kind of have the big picture, right? And
Yes.
and keep having little goals that help you know you're getting there. And then the second piece, which isn't something that we can always control, but we can certainly connect with it, which I love what you said. You're motivated when you get feedback from people.
Absolutely.
I'm motivated when I get feedback from people. When people on Facebook Live hit those hearts because we say something that they found meaningful, that spurs me and energizes me, just that small thing. So I guess when it comes to dreams, we need to keep the big picture in mind, have some goals, smaller goals that when we hit them, it inspires us.
Mhm.
But then we also need to look for those encouragements that we can get from the people around us, our support group, the people that we're working with or for.
Absolutely. And I was just going to add one thing. You talked about a little bit about, and I know we're going to move into it, more accountability, but setting a goal that also helps you to stay motivated. So maybe saying, if I touch the life of 2 people this week in some capacity, it's a win. Celebrating the small wins. We're part of a mutual group of people called Girl Boss, and that is something that I've really loved. Like, really focusing on the small achievements, because sometimes we get caught up, well, we didn't get that, or I didn't find this person a building or a space, but the small goals to keep to the bigger goal. And maybe it's pieces to the bigger goal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's finding 5 drops, or 5 people or
Yeah.
5 things to do that.
Okay.
Piece, so.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That if it's too big, or if we're constantly focusing on how we fell short, that's super demotivating. So I love to say where our focus goes, our energy flows, and we feed the beast. So if we're focusing on how we've fallen short, our motivation, right?
Yeah. And I think it's so easy in all of these inspiration, motivation, action. It's so easy to focus on the things that don't happen,
Yeah.
and to say, gosh, I didn't make that. And I was talking to a really great business owner on a Friday night meeting, and they said that they set a goal every single day. They set a daily goal, and it had been a really rough week with people being out, and they said, I didn't even hit my daily goal. I said, but could you see what happened to sort of project for next week so you can kind of go whatever that goal was. So in that sense of just keep moving forward, because it gets really easy to get defeated if you don't. Just keep saying, okay, that didn't work, try something different. And I think that's to me, that's the second most important part of a dream. Sometimes you have to really readjust. What is my friend calls it, mid-course corrections.
Yes.
Sometimes there's beginning course, middle course, end course, revert back, try again. And if you don't have different ways to try something, you're going to fail. You're going to not succeed because you can't, you won't abandon ship when something's not working.
Okay.
And I, for a long time, have not wanted to abandon ship on a couple things. And I finally needed to, just in the last 6 months.
Wow.
I had to say, this is not working. This piece of it is not working. And
So
I
the
need
dream
to-
stayed.
The dream is there.
But that piece, okay, and you have segued beautifully into that third thing, which is the action. So
Yeah.
you've got your inspiration, you've got motivation, and you're taking action. And what you just described is amazing, because you take action, and then if it doesn't work, what do?
Take another action.
You take a different action,
Exactly.
right?
Instead of stopping.
Instead of stopping, right? So that piece of action is so critical, and not giving up just because the action we took wasn't the perfect thing.
Absolutely.
So you're kind to yourself.
I'm trying to be, and I'm trying not to be, I'm trying not to be so hard on myself, but also sometimes identifying the things that I'm doing better and the things I'm doing worse. So now I'm really looking at, where are my actions being better spent? Sometimes they're not that immediate goal, or they're not, what's the word? They're not reaching the goals I need to, but what they're doing is they're getting us to the longer term goal.
Yes.
So sometimes I might have 15 meetings in a week because I know the meetings are successful, and I'll step back on that prioritization of something else because it's not working. I'm not connecting those dots. And so I'm trying to look at the bigger picture of what is working. And also, and the same thing of action is being strong enough, which has been my hardest struggle. And I want to admit it to you, is stopping actions and clearly standing strong in my own commitment to the board, to the people that serve us, to our volunteers, to our donors, to the people, and say, this doesn't work, and we're gonna have to not do this. And so there'll be some changes coming up next year for us.
Ooh.
Because there are things that didn't work, and we don't wanna let other people down, and so we have to make some changes
Yeah.
to some actions we were doing.
Okay. Now, let me just throw it out here to the Facebook audience. Have you ever found yourself in that place where you realize, yep, I'm doing the same thing over and over, and I'm getting the same bad result over and over, and I've got to stop? Have you ever done it? Has it ever happened to you? Because I know I have. I've spent years doing the same thing, knocking my head, falling down, knocking my head, falling down. My mentor, John Maxwell, describes it like this. He goes, this is not perseverance. This is stupidity.
Well, actually, it's the definition of insanity.
Yes.
It's doing the same thing over and again, expecting a different result. And I have to say, for me, if I could give any piece of advice to any up-and-coming person with a dream, is sometimes it's not you. It's that the person you're dealing with, sometimes you hope to change, and you need to just realize that maybe it's not within them. And this could go for all sorts of things like relationships, but I'm talking about in terms of business. If a person is expecting A through Z from you, and you can give A, and you've told them that I can give A, and they're expecting this, then it's not a good business relationship. So now I'm trying to see a person for a person as a friend, and a person as a business relationship. And I can separate them and feel good about that, but I don't have to do work, or vice versa, and
because it business is separate from personal. It doesn't mean that, and I know that because I know you're a woman of integrity, so I know you're not saying that you can just do whatever you want and treat people like crap because of business.
It's the opposite, yeah.
But that you can know that I can have a personal relationship with somebody and it can be valuable.
Absolutely.
But they may not be a good business relationship.
Absolutely.
And that business is a separate thing. Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do things with people, but they don't want to cross in the personal line. And I just thought because of being a nonprofit, it was automatically synonymous, and it's not. Sometimes people like you, but they have their own life, and they might like to do something with you, but they're not really.
Getting some thumbs up, people. That is resonating with people. Yeah, Linda Palazzolo. I've worked with Linda. Linda was one of my mentors for many years in the marketing department at the Postal Service.
Oh, awesome.
And I can remember her sitting me down one time and saying, and Linda, you may not remember it, but I remember saying, Shannon, business is not personal. And you can say no to people, and it's not personal.
Yeah.
You have to make changes. You have to move personnel. And I've never forgotten that, and that's what you're describing. So when we're taking actions, we've got to be willing to step back from them, see if they're working, is what I'm hearing, be willing to identify when they're not, and also be willing to make sure that the people that we're working with are in the right bucket, right? The right category, that they're in the place that works for us.
And I know we're going to segue in a second into the next thing about it, but I have to say the biggest challenge has been for us, and it's a constant evolution moving forward, is even though we're a nonprofit, it's a descriptor of a business, but we're a business. And we felt like for a long time, we were, and I've made the mistake of also using, because I believe in it, it's a charity, but that people have treated us not like a business, so it wasn't as important. And I don't want to say lack integrity, but it wasn't as important as keeping those promises. And so we want to make sure that we're being seen as a business. We just happen to not be for profit. And so I think that that's our biggest push moving forward is that we are no different than whether you're XYZ Corp or ABC this, that we are
It
all
still
the
requires
same.
money. You still have to earn money because
Well,
that's what it takes.
And we have goals and deadlines
Yeah.
and times and respect our time, respect our
Oh.
work, respect our this, because I will give you that we will give you that same respect.
Yeah.
So I blame myself. And so that's, to me, of all of these, the most important part of
The
accountability
learning piece.
is the learning piece, but I hold myself accountable that I allowed people to see us as this place of hope and maybe kindness, and that I wanted to be seen as professional. So now as we move forward, and thanks to new branding from the hockey consultants,
Beautiful.
and so much good work, and so many wonderful, amazing businesses came forward and said, we want to help you. And so part of that is holding people to the same standards that they expect from me, and to just make sure that that's the only way we can stay accountable, because we do have donors and boards and people that are looking to us to accomplish something. So in order for that to happen, we have to be treated the same as we would treat them.
So, Laura, how do you hold yourself accountable, and who's in your circle that helps hold you accountable? Is this something that you can do by yourself? Maybe I should start there. Are you like the Lone Ranger who doesn't need anybody to help you?
Well, I'm sure there's a few people, if they were watching this video, would say that they think I try to do
Girl
that.
bosses, we're talking to you. You've
the-
seen it.
Yeah, but we have a board, some amazing people, Cecilia Colsante, Carol Reschke, Megan Gagnon. But in addition to that, we have some really great supporters. One of them, Kim Enders and Kim Dwyer. Lots of great Kims in my life. But what I wanted to say was those people, so the board, in order to have a nonprofit, you have to have a board. And there's at least a few positions, a secretary, treasurer, those types of things. So we're legal, we're filed with the state of Michigan, filed with the federal government. But then it was really important to connect to people who not only wanted to help us, but really saw the vision for the organization. And Kim and Kim both have been just so supportive. So I would say to anybody, and I've already mentioned this before, get a business coach, get a mentor, get an advisor, get somebody you can talk to, get somebody who will say, how are you? What are you doing? What do you need? And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you see it, because I am a very driven person, I don't have a board that stands over my head or expects some of me, so I'm harder on myself. And I'll be honest, things have slipped through the cracks, and it's not that I'm not doing it, it's just how to fit it all in. So I think for the accountability piece, it's really getting a group of people who understand your vision. And we had an original vision, which was helping families at Christmas with a low-cost shopping event, and we evolved. We still do that. Next weekend, December 8th, still taking donations, still could use support. But when we switched that, we had people on our board that said, this isn't our vision. And I said, so at that time, because the rules of nonprofits go, they were the board. I said, well, then you guys can take the organization, but then I'll start something different. And they said, no, you can do this. We'll let you.
You worked it together.
Well, we worked it, but they chose to move on. And I think what you need to do, and I say this, to me, the number one thing that nonprofits need more than money, donations, people, time, anything, is great board members that understand their vision. So to me, I have people who are now, Laura, we think you're crazy sometimes, but God bless you.
Yes.
And we're not, and I think that the accountability comes from, unfortunately, and I don't want to hammer other places, but it comes from real numbers and real statistics, and I'm a statistical data person.
Okay, so we're going to stop right there. Okay, so what you're saying is accountability is more than just people, and surrounding yourself with people that'll say, hey, did you do what I said? Or, no, you're getting off track. You're saying that for a business owner or a business person, that there is accountability to be found in the data, the numbers, the profit and loss, the cash flow, all of that
How
stuff.
you treat employees, employee reviews, customer reviews, people that do, I just was talking to, these amazing people, how people want to watch these videos and Instagram and this. It's more than just, and my dad used to always say this, but he'd say, someone has, eventually, no matter how big you build a team or an empire, eventually it's what people say about you. So to me, that's also data. It's how people talk about you and how this, but it's numbers. It's how many people have you helped. And at the end of the year, I challenge everyone. If you want to belong to an organization or you shop in a business, look at the big picture, not just if they sell, ABC cool technological device, but that they also are, what are they doing for the world? How are they not, giving back?
Yeah.
And so to me, the accountability comes from a much bigger picture. And I want to just give a shout out. I was at Mod Pizza, great organization, gives back to the community. They were voted one of the 2018, best places to work here. And the people there are happy.
Yeah.
You can't fake that.
Yeah.
You can fake niceness, but you can't fake happiness.
Yeah.
And the employees there have a good time. And that to me speaks larger than all sorts of numbers.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you need the numbers too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Laura, you are amazing. Thank you so much for sharing part of your journey with us so that we can learn from it. And I hope you guys have learned from it. I'm going to go through, Laura will too, I know. We're going to check out all those comments. We're going to reply and respond, and you guys can connect with each other, which is awesome when that happens. Thank you. Before I let you just wrap it up, and you've got 2 minutes to tell us whatever you want us to know about what mission you're working on right now in the community during this holiday season. I want to give a shout out to all the girl bosses who joined us, because you guys are amazing and such a great support group. Mutual support, mutual accountability is pretty cool to see. And I know I've been just in awe of what I see happening there. So for those of you who tuned in, thank you. And now, Laura, as we wrap up here, getting ready to say goodbye, let everybody get their Sunday night done so they can jump into Monday and change the world. What are you working on that we could work with you to accomplish?
Well, this Saturday is one of our 2 large events that bless local families in need who are referred by agencies they work with, everything from domestic violence to homelessness to hunger, etc. They get to come and pick out gifts for their children. We still could use donations. There's always things that we can use. December 8th and 18th will be those 2 events. After those events, we donate everything to people in need. You can always check out information at helpinghandsgifts.com. We are on Facebook and Instagram. Our newsletter comes out tomorrow. Lots of chock full of information. But I would just say the big 2 projects that are heavy on my heart are that I would love to see a permanent shelter built in Macomb County for the homeless. And in the interim until that time, working, just looking at the work being done by the WAVE Project for mobile showers. So if those or either of those immediately speak to you as we enter the cold weather, I'd love to. There's tons of other projects we'd like to work on. And the last piece is next year. Our focus is human trafficking and sexual assault. This year was the opioid epidemic. Check out Northern Macomb Prevention Coalition page on Facebook for that. And check out our page, Helping Hands Gifts, for the progress for next year on human trafficking and sexual assault. How we're going to focus on it next year with the Alabaster Gift, another great organization.
Awesome. Laura, thank you. Thank you, Facebook family, for tuning in, taking time out of your busy night. I love you all. And stay tuned. I'll be popping in during the day this week with some Facebook Live updates. And I look forward to seeing you, speaking to your heart, and singing some joy to you at the Christmas tea. Mwah! Goodbye and have a great night. So long, everybody. Wait, bye, Laura, while I turn this off.
Good night.